It was a typical Monday morning when 9-year-old Mia stepped off the school bus, her bright pink backpack slung over one shoulder. But something about her expression wasn't right. Her dad, Marcus, noticed it immediately. She was unusually quiet, her usual bubbly chatter replaced by a troubled silence. Marcus bent down and asked, "Mia, is everything okay?" That's when she looked up at him, her big brown eyes filled with worry, and said the bus driver did it again. Those words hit Marcus like a lightning bolt. His heart raced as he tried to keep calm and ask her what she meant. Her hesitation only deepened his concern. "What happened, sweetie? What do you mean?" he asked gently, trying to steady his voice. Mia fidgeted, her little hands gripping the straps of her backpack. He said things again. Weird things. "It made me scared," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. Marcus felt his stomach twist into knots. This wasn't the first time Mia had mentioned feeling uncomfortable on the bus, but this time her fear was undeniable. He knew he couldn't brush it off or wait any longer. Without hesitation, he grabbed his phone and called 911, determined to get to the bottom of whatever was happening. What exactly did the bus driver do? And how would this call change everything for Mia and her family? Stay tuned as we unravel this story of concern, action, and the pursuit of safety for a little girl who just wanted to feel safe on her way to school. As Marcus paced his living room, phone in hand, he couldn't shake the growing sense of unease. The 911 operator's voice was calm and professional, but the weight of the situation was anything but ordinary. "What exactly happened on the bus?" they asked. Marcus hesitated, glancing at Mia, who was now sitting on the couch, clutching a stuffed bear to her chest. He didn't have all the answers yet, but he knew his daughter wasn't making this up. She said the bus driver made her uncomfortable. "I don't know all the details yet, but this isn't the first time she's mentioned him acting off," Marcus explained. The operator assured him that an officer would be dispatched to speak with them, but Marcus was already thinking ahead. Should he confront the school, talk to the other parents, or wait and let the authorities handle it? Meanwhile, Mia sat quietly, her tiny frame curled into the corner of the couch. Her dad's questions echoed in her mind. Should she tell him everything? She didn't want to get in trouble or make things worse, but she also didn't want to ride that bus ever again. As Marcus hung up the phone, he noticed Mia watching him nervously. "You're not in trouble, sweetie," he reassured her, kneeling by her side. "But I need to know everything. Did he touch you? Say something bad?" She shook her head but stayed silent, her lips pressed together like she was holding back a secret she wasn't ready to share. The more Marcus thought about it, the clearer it became. Something wasn't right, and this wasn't going to be easy to uncover. As Marcus waited for the police to arrive, he couldn't stop replaying Mia's words in his head. He decided to dig a little deeper while they had a moment alone. Sitting beside her on the couch, he gently asked, "Can you tell me what he said, Mia? You don't have to be scared. I just want to help." Mia hesitated, staring down at her bear as if it held the answers. He talks to me differently than the other kids," she said softly. "Sometimes he says stuff like, 'You're my favorite,' or 'I'm watching you.' It's creepy, Daddy." Marcus felt his chest tighten. Why hadn't he known about this sooner? How long had Mia been dealing with this? He fought to keep his voice steady. Did anyone else hear him say these things? Mia shrugged. "I don't know. Everyone's usually talking or on their phones." The sound of a car pulling into the driveway broke their conversation. Marcus peeked through the window and saw a police officer stepping out, his uniform crisp and his expression serious. He turned back to Mia. "It's going to be okay. Just tell them what you told me, all right? Mia nodded but gripped his hand tightly as they went to the door. Outside, the officer introduced himself and began asking questions, his notepad ready. As they talked, Marcus noticed a few neighbors peeking out from their windows. The growing attention made him uneasy, but he couldn't let that distract him. Inside, his phone buzzed with a message from another parent. Asterisk, have you heard about the bus driver? Something's not right. Asterisk, Marcus's stomach dropped. It seemed Mia wasn't the only one. As Marcus finished speaking with the officer, he couldn't shake the unease creeping into his chest. The officer had asked detailed questions, scribbling notes and nodding thoughtfully, but his neutral expression revealed little. Mia stayed close by, her eyes darting nervously between the adults. When the officer finally turned to her, he crouched down to her level. "Hi, Mia," he said gently. "I know this might feel scary, but you're doing a great job. Can you tell me anything else about the bus driver? Maybe what he looks like, or if he's ever said something that made you feel unsafe." Mia hesitated, glancing at Marcus for reassurance. "He's always looking at me through the mirror," she said, her voice small. "And one time, he said I shouldn't tell anyone he talks to me." The officer's pen froze mid-scribble, and Marcus felt his stomach churn. The tension only grew when the officer's radio crackled with a call from dispatch. "We've received additional complaints regarding the subject in question," the voice said. Marcus caught the officer's sharp glance before he stepped away to respond. Back inside, Marcus paced the living room, his thoughts racing. His phone buzzed again. This time it was a message from a parent group chat. Asterisk, just heard some kids talking about the driver. Something needs to be done. Asterisk, he scrolled further, heart sinking as he saw a post from a mother claiming her son had stopped taking the bus altogether. The doorbell rang again, and Marcus's heart leaped. Another officer was standing there, a stern look on his face. "Mr. Johnson," he began, "we may need to escalate this situation. Can we take a closer look at your daughter's bus route and schedule?" Marcus felt the weight of the moment. Something bigger was unfolding, and they were only scratching the surface. Marcus nodded at the officer, trying to keep his composure. He pulled out Mia's bus schedule from a drawer and handed it over, feeling a strange mix of dread and determination. The second officer stepped inside, his tone brisk but calm. "We've been monitoring complaints involving this driver, but nothing's been conclusive, until now. Your daughter's account lines up with a pattern we're starting to see." Marcus felt a chill. "A pattern?" he asked, his voice tightening. The officer hesitated before answering, his eyes flicking toward Mia. "We've received similar reports from other children on different routes. Some parents dismiss them as misunderstandings, but there's enough overlap that we're taking this seriously." As the officers conferred quietly in the corner, Marcus's phone buzzed again. It was a voicemail from another parent, her voice panicked. "Asterisk, Marcus, I heard what happened. My daughter mentioned him staring at her too, but I didn't realize it was this serious. Please keep me updated. Asterisk." Before Marcus could respond, the officer's radio buzzed again. This time, the voice was clipped and urgent. "Suspect's bus located at the depot. Proceeding with inspection." The officer glanced at Marcus. "We need to go. We'll let you know what we find." Marcus watched them leave, his thoughts spinning. He tried to reassure Mia, but she seemed more withdrawn than ever. Suddenly, his phone buzzed with a different notification. A news alert about an incident involving a school bus driver in their district. The headline made his heart pound. As Marcus clicked the link, the doorbell rang once more. This time, it was a school administrator, looking pale and uneasy. "Mr. Johnson," she said, her voice trembling, "there's something I need to tell you about the driver." Marcus felt his pulse quicken as he ushered the school administrator inside. She looked visibly shaken, clutching a folder tightly against her chest. "I came as soon as I heard," she said, her voice low. "There's something we discovered about the driver that you need to know." Marcus guided her to the living room, where Mia sat quietly. "What is it?" he asked, his tone edged with urgency. The administrator hesitated, glancing at Mia, before lowering her voice. "We've been conducting a review after a few parents raised concerns. The driver, Mr. Caldwell, had a previous complaint at another district. It wasn't reported to us when he was hired." Marcus felt a rush of anger, but held it back. Why wasn't this caught sooner? The administrator shook her head. "The system failed, and I'm so sorry. The authorities are involved now, and they're investigating everything. But there's more." She opened the folder to reveal documents showing inconsistencies in the driver's credentials. Just then, Marcus's phone buzzed again. This time, it was an officer calling. He answered quickly, and the voice on the other end was tense. "Mr. Johnson, we found something on the bus." Marcus's heart pounded as the officer explained. They had discovered a journal in the driver's seat, filled with unsettling notes about specific students. Mia's name was mentioned multiple times. Marcus felt his blood run cold. "What does this mean?" he asked, his voice shaking. "It means we've got enough evidence to act," the officer said. But before Marcus could process it, the administrator gasped. She was looking out the window, her face pale. "That's him," she whispered. Marcus turned to see Mr. Caldwell's car parked down the street. The final twist hit like a bolt of lightning. The driver wasn't at the depot. He was watching there. Marcus's breath caught as he stared out the window. The sight of Mr. Caldwell's car sent a jolt of fear through him, but he refused to let it show in front of Mia. He turned to the school administrator, her face pale with alarm, and whispered, "Take Mia upstairs." Now, as they moved quickly but quietly, Marcus called the officer back. "He's here," he said, keeping his voice steady. "Outside my house." The officer's tone turned urgent. "Stay inside. Lock the doors. We're sending a unit right now." Marcus double-checked the locks, his hands trembling slightly, and kept an eye on the car through the curtains. Minutes felt like hours until the sound of sirens finally pierced the tense silence. 2 patrol cars pulled up, and officers moved swiftly toward Caldwell's vehicle. Marcus watched from the window as they approached the man, who was now stepping out of the car with his hands up. Mia peeked from the top of the stairs, her eyes wide. "Is it over, Daddy?" she asked softly. Marcus nodded and smiled, though his heart still raced. "Yes, sweetie, it's over." The following days brought closure. Mr. Caldwell was taken into custody, and further investigation revealed a troubling history that led to charges being filed. The school district issued an apology and implemented stricter hiring protocols, vowing to prioritize student safety. For Marcus and Mia, life slowly returned to normal. Though the experience had shaken them, it also brought them closer. As Marcus hugged his daughter one evening, he reminded her, "You were so brave, and you did the right thing. No one should ever make you feel unsafe." And with that, they found peace, knowing they had faced the storm and come out stronger.